So signals are actually a very good thing, and we are going to use one now. So Django signals are going to help us. So a simple description of what a signal does is a signal will execute an action based on an action that was executed. Okay, so this is what it means. Now we want to have a situation whenever you create a user, then automatically a profile has to be created. We don't have to come and create the profile ourselves. Okay, that's exactly what we want to achieve as far as our system is concerned. So as far as the signal goes, I'm going to come into VS Code, and inside our user application, I'm going to create another file. I'm going to call this signals.py. All right, so in signal.py, we're going to run some few imports. Let me close these ones over here. So the question is, immediately we create a user, we want a profile created. Okay, that is the relationship we want to do. So we are going to import some few things over here. So I'm going to say from django.contrib.auth.models, we want to import the user model. Then we are going to say from the current models, we want to import, and we want to import profile. So clearly, because we are going to deal with these two models, which is our user model and our profile model, that's why we have those imported over here. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to say from django.db.models.signals, I'm going to import post save signal. So I have it over here, post save signal. So immediately an action is taken, which is more or less like the post, then a save method is invoked on the profile. Then finally, I'm going to say from django.dispatch, I want to import receiver. All right, so this is how things are going to work. So this receiver over here is almost going to work like a decorator, like what we did with the decorator. So I'm going to call this receiver over here, and it's going to take in some parameters over here. So as you can see, we can have the post save. Okay, and I'm going to say sender is equal to, the sender is going to be equal to the user, because it is a based on the user's invocation that a profile will be created. And I'm going to define a function over here. So I'm going to call this function create. I'm going to call this function create profile function. And this create profile function is going to have some parameters over here. So the first of which is going to be the sender. Then there's going to be the instance, and we are going to have created. And finally, we are going to pass in some quacks or keyword arguments. So quacks will accept any arguments at runtime. And I'm going to say if created. Okay, so we are going to call this created as we have it over here. So if the user is created, then what I want to do is I want to do profile dot objects. Okay, so we are going to have that objects, then we are going to create it over here. I think I'm getting some typos over here. So profile dot create. Okay, so profile dot objects dot create. Then what then do you want to create? You want to create stuff will then be equal to the instance that was passed in. All right, so this is just one stage of using signals. Then I'm going to copy this and paste this over here, and now this is going to be the save that's going to be saved, okay, as far as the profile is concerned. So what I'm going to do over here is, this time around, since we've created it, we don't have to pass the created parameter over here. So I'll get rid of this, and all that we need to do over here is we are going to say, let me get rid of this as well. We are going to say instance dot profile dot save. All right, so this is going to invoke a save method on the profile that was received through this sender. And so we are creating a profile. Immediately we have our user created. And what I'm going to do next is I'm going to come in here inside apps.py, and over here we are going to define a function over here. So this function, we are going to call this function ready, and ready is going to take in self as a parameter. Then I'm going to say from user, which is this user app, I want to import signals. All right, so I think we are almost done as far as this is concerned. So now let's go and test this app. But before we do and actually get this properly working, there's one thing I would want us to do. Let's try and see something over here. So now let's delete everything we have as far as our users are concerned, because we don't want to have issues over here. So I'm deleting every user we have over here. So I'll click on this and I'll certainly delete all the users we have in our database. So now we are now left with admin, and admin of course has a profile over here. So now let's come back here and log out and try and register a new user. So over here I'm going to register KenB, and KenB is going to have this email address, and I'm going to type in my password. All right, so immediately I register. All right, so we have this problem over here. It says user has no profile, and let's come in here and come and refresh. Okay, we don't have a profile for KenB, but then KenB has been created. But then the problem came about when we're creating the profile. So now let's go to our signals and see the problem over here. So if I go through, so now let's go through once again. We have a receiver from dispatch, that is, we are having the post save and the sender is user. There's no problem over here. Then we've created a function called create profile, and it takes in these parameters: the sender, the instance, the created, and any keyword arguments. So you are saying that if created, then the profile.objects.create, and you are assigning this to staff. We are going to later on look at groups, okay, but for now we are assuming that you have a group called staff. Now what we then have to do now is to save it over here. So we are saying that receiver, and also we are using the post save, and the sender is user as well. Then I think, okay, so the problem is here. It's supposed to be save profile. All right, so when I save this and come back over here, all right, so now let's try registering another user, and let's call this John. So let's call this Joseph. We have Joseph in here, and we choose this password, and I'll type in, sorry, choosing the email, I'll type in a password, and immediately I click on register. Okay, we don't seem to have any problem yet. So now let's log in as Joseph, and I'll type in my password over here. Okay, so now you are able to log in. When we come to profile, we have everything in here. So as you can see, the phone number and address is provided as none. If we should come into our back end and come and refresh over here, now you can see that a profile has been created for Joseph. Okay, so this is good. All right, and KenB has no profile. So now let's create a profile for KenB, since that was the one that was having problems. So now let's click on this, and the staff is going to be KenB, and for address I'm going to choose University of Ghana. Phone number is going to be this random number, and I'm just going to save. Okay, so KenB too has a profile. Now remember, in our models, and quickly let me show you this before I end this video. In our models, we said this was a one-to-one relationship as far as the staff, the profile to the user is concerned. Then we also specify on delete models.cascade. So like I said, if we delete a user, then there's no need still having that profile. Okay, so it works in some kind of a one-way direction as far as the on delete cascade is concerned. So now let's try some examples over here. So now we have a user. Remember, we have, this is the profiles. Okay, so we have profile for Ken B, Joseph, and admin1. Now let's go to the user over here and let's delete Ken B. So when I click on delete, and it says, are you sure you want to delete Ken B? Yes, I want to delete Ken B. Now when I come into profiles, we can see that Ken B has been deleted because of the models on delete cascade attribute we specified as far as the relationship is concerned. Now let's come to our dashboard over here, and when I refresh, we are supposed to get a default image over here. So with the default image, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into dashboard, and inside media I have this avatar image over here. So I'll do Ctrl+C and come in here into the projects folder and come into media and dump this over here. So just before or within the same directory as the profile image, I put this over here, but then not exactly in the same directory, but then within the media folder, that's where I have the avatar image. So if I should come back here and come and refresh, we are going to see the avatar image over here. Now this looks not too good. We are going to see how we can edit and change the things we would want to change, and that's why we have this edit button over here. So in this video, we've been able to work on how we can create a profile, okay, and we've been able to also kind of automate things in some way, in the sense that we are using Django signals to create a profile at the instance of the creation of a user, and that's very important. So now in the next video, the user will now be able to change, for instance, this avatar image and other information over here as he or she continues to use the application. Now, if you find this tutorial very interesting, there are a couple of ways you can help me grow my channel. Kindly subscribe to KenBroTech, and don't forget to hit on the notification button so that you'll be duly notified anytime I release a video. Also, share this video with friends and families who will find this content very useful. As KenBroTech, we say learn programming, you can do it. And also feel free to ask any question in the comment section below. Thank you very much, and bye bye.